Okay, we're back again.
Here we are.
Yeah, last time we did this, I didn't give you much time to prepare. It was like, hey, can you come downstairs for a second and sit down? And then we started doing this thing, and it was a surprise.
It turned out way better than I think either one of us expected.
Yeah, you jumped right in, and it worked out pretty good. So last time we talked, just kind of a broad, just kind of like just experimenting, really.
And talked about all of this new podcasting equipment that we got.
And so this week, we're going to really briefly talk about the video gear and what we do, and kind of get people up to speed with what we're capable of doing here.
What we're currently doing, the current type of equipment and video work that we're doing here, from 15-second spots up to hour-long programs.
Yeah, I got started in video production in 1986. So that's like 35 years ago.
And then what kind of work were you doing when you first got started?
When I got started, I didn't initially decide to go into this field. What happened with me is I'm going through Bible school, and the classes at this time, they decided they were going to start recording them, and they asked, does anybody have any experience with video? And I didn't have any experience.
But you wanted some.
Right. And I remember, as a kid, we had little home movie making things, right? So I thought, okay, well, I held a camera. And so I raised my hand, and I really fell in love with the camera. I mean, I was surprised that it became very simple for me to...
Kind of had a knack for it.
Yeah. Composition was natural. I had an eye for, how to compose a shot. And so I jumped in. I quickly got involved in video production, not just running camera, but doing multi-camera switches, multi-camera production, and editing. So I jumped into it, and it became a career for me. And so I went into broadcast television and enjoyed working in that world for a while, and I was involved in engineering as well. Engineering is where you connect all this stuff, and you can see there's a lot of connectors. This is nothing compared to the way it was 35 years ago.
There's no question about that.
Right. There used to be racks and racks and racks of cables.
Rooms, was all not rarely in one room. Everything.
So it's so simple, and now I watch a lot of YouTube creators and video production people that do what I've done most of my life. And it's funny because I will watch them do a review on a camera, and I'm like, what? I have this confusion because they'll talk about this camera, and they're like, this camera's great, and we like it, but it's too heavy. It's 4 pounds. And I'm thinking, man.
4 pounds is light.
I used to carry a 35-pound camera.
Right.
The lens was 4 pounds.
Yeah, the tapes for them are this. Now they're on a little computer chip that's about that big.
Right. So it's really funny for me to watch and hear complaints about editing software, and I'm like, you don't have a clue what it was like running from tape to tape. You remember the big
big 2-inch tapes when I first got started. In order to be a good editor, you had to have long arms because you had to literally hit the buttons on these tape machines. You could not coordinate anything like what you're doing here. I mean, it's taking all the guesswork out of it.
So I quickly got involved in that, and then I got involved in producing. I was a producer for a lot of television programs and enjoyed that. But I think what I really liked doing after a while was commercial production.
It's the shorter element. It's more. People think it may be easier because it's shorter, but it's also more challenging because you got a lot. You got to get your whole message in 15 seconds or 30 seconds, or maybe 60 if you're lucky. But now with Facebook and the digital area, that's opened up. Those hard times have kind of gone away in the digital world. It's not as important to be exactly 15, 30, or 60.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that you can just record whatever you're going to record, and you're not watching that clock the whole time.
Right.
It used to be very stressful, keeping an eye on the clock and making sure everything was exactly right. And
so tell us a little bit about what kind of current equipment that you have and some of the capabilities of it.
I think one of the sometimes something happens to you and there's a blessing in it, but you don't see it.
Right. I've had a lot of those.
Yeah. It was about, I think it was about 8 years ago that I had all my equipment stolen, and I was setting up for a location shoot. So I loaded everything up in a cargo trailer. It was like $65,000 worth of gear. Loaded all up in the cargo trailer. I closed the cargo trailer and locked it. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. and I shut my garage door. I had backed it up to my garage, shut my garage door. I even parked my truck semi in front of it, so it would be very difficult. I was just thinking, I didn't think that there's be a possibility.
Right. Nobody does.
Right. So the morning I wake up at 6 a.m. and I open my garage door and it's gone. My trailer's gone.
Oh my God.
And there was some of the crew members that were spending the night at my house because we're going to leave early. And I thought they paid a joke on me. That's parked around the corner or
Right.
something.
We'll hide it.
Yeah. No, it was a tragic moment. So,
And it was never recovered. I assume?
well, none of the gear, but they found the trailer just out in a country home, and it was the wheels were pulled off of it, and they
stripped down.
painted it, with a pan brush, and it was horrible. So all the equipment nothing was ever recovered, but it forced me to buy all new gear, and that was the time that I decided, I'm going to go more into a cinema style camera rather than a traditional broadcast kind of camera that I've always been accustomed to. And so I did a lot of research, and I found a camera I really loved it. It's the one that they talked about. It's too heavy. It's 4 pounds. They think it's too heavy, but it's a great camera. And I found that I liked it so much because it was endorsed, or it was approved by even Netflix to be acceptable as a cinema camera.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's a very high quality camera, and we ended up getting 2 additional cameras just like it, so that we could have multi-camera shoots.
Like we're doing here now.
Right, yeah. And so you could see the cameras, we were able to set it up so that we could do a very attractive scene. So anyway, we're in better gear today, better than ever. And one of the reasons that it looks so great, I'll show you this camera here. See, the lens, we used to buy cameras that had zoom in and out lenses. And, remember
It's more standard, yeah.
In the 80s, we had camcorders you put on your shirt.
I had one. The tape. Excuse me. The tape was like this big,
Right.
in and of itself, yeah.
Right.
Then it would get old and stick. And
Yeah. Well, the lenses we have now, they don't zoom in and out. They're just fixed. So that one there is that's a 50 millimeter lens. The one right here, that one is going to be a 35 millimeter lens. And you can see that it's a little bit wider than my shot. It's just because it gets a better angle. And this is a wider shot. So we move the camera closer or back it up so we can get the zoom that we want to get. But the quality of the picture looks really good. So multi-camera shoots are becoming more popular, and this kind of a setup of a podcast, it's popular. And so we're going to try to open up our studio so people can use it.
Cool.
They can come in here and record a podcast or an interview, and we'll change up the background so it looks unique. That's one of the things that we're excited about now.
Lots of possibilities.
The lighting is important. We got really good quality lighting, so that makes a big difference in the overall look.
Cool. A lot of possibilities of customizing the equipment to each individual client's needs. And it's easy because they don't have to purchase or operate the equipment. They just sort of step in and come up with what they're going to need and turnkey it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and the way that we can set it up here, if somebody wants to create their own podcast or record something for their company, like a discussion that they want to send out, we would set up all the gear just off camera and run it for them. They would sit down here, and when they're ready to go, we would record it. It doesn't have to actually go live,
Right.
like we're doing right now. We can record it and decide on when to post it live, or where to put it, whether we put it on YouTube or Facebook or their
Public or private channels.
right, or they can embed it on their company website for people to see. So there's all kinds of different ways of doing it. So anyway, that's a little bit more about video.
Cool. We got a lot of stuff going on here at MediaQuest, and we're going to kind of touch in base with y'all on a weekly basis and let you know a little more in depth of the different types of things that we're doing. Jody, before we wrap up, I just want you to give us a brief overview of the variety of video projects that, say, we've done in the last year in terms of length and general type of customer.
One of the things that we're doing a lot more is video for social media. And so it's very targeted. People really like social media because we can do it as a 15-second or as a 30-second or it could be a 15-second version with a longer version that they can go to on their website or their YouTube page. That seems to be the most active video production that's going on right now. Everybody's using social media.
Well, we tend to get higher hits on video than we do on any kind of static post in general speaking.
A post is good, but video, it has a lot more response and engagement.
And people are just constantly, they need something new almost all the time.
Yep. Okay. That's great. All righty. Well, we'll wrap it up here.
Sounds great. We got more good things here. If there's anything that we can do to help you or your company, or if this is giving you some ideas for some things that you might want to develop, give us a call here at MediaQuest, and we'll be glad to sit down and visit with you.
See y'all later.
Bye.